If you're looking to build a deeper connection with your audience this year and you're a passionate business owner with a message to share, then I would love to help you do that via podcasting. If you're interested in starting a podcast this year, head over to donnaeade.com/apply to register your interest today. Don't forget to hit subscribe where you listen and rate and review the podcast if you've enjoyed it. You can also share this episode with a friend. It is a great way to help the podcast out to get to more listeners just like you. You're listening to the Mindset and Action Podcast, the place to be to grow and streamline your business. I'm your host, Donna Eade. Let's jump into the show. Welcome back to the podcast, everybody, for another Mindset Mini. I have Libby Langley here with me, and she's going to be with me on Thursday as well. So make sure you tune in on Thursday for our full length episode. But today we're going to hit some mindset issues. Libby, tell my audience a little bit about you. Obviously, we're going to go deeper on Thursday, but in case they miss Thursdays, which you shouldn't, definitely have your notifications on, guys. Who are you and what do you do?
Well, I'm Libby Langley, and I am a business coach for solopreneurs and small business owners. I am also a published author of Life in Business and host a podcast called Life in Business 2.
Lovely. And that is just Life in Business. The 2 is just because she's got that and the podcast going. That kind of flew really easily. It's like Life in Business 2.
Oh yeah, no, not 2.0 as well. I'm sorry, Life in Business as well. Sorry, yes.
Brilliant. So on Thursday, we are going to be discussing a little bit of Libby's story and how she grew a business and then decreased her business and why that was the right thing for her to do. And we're going to be talking about how you look at your business in terms of personal and self-development within that and how you sort of go about finding those things. So tune in on Thursday for that. But today I have just got one question for you, Libby. And I'm going to have to preface this with, as you're a coach, don't try and coach yourself. I want the truth here. I want it back in the grittiness of it, what you actually did, because I think I've had a coach on previously and they kind of just gave us like, this was my issue, now this is how you deal with it. And I was like, no, I want to know how you dealt with it at the time. So what has been your biggest mindset block in your business so far? Maybe it was something that happened near the beginning, and how did you overcome it? What was the sort of the crux of it and how you kind of got beyond it?
This is quite an interesting one, actually, because you might not have preempted what I'm going to say, but my biggest block is, and a thing that I've always hated in my business, it's hard to say that I've been in business for 13 years this year, but I'm really uncomfortable with marketing myself. And I do a lot of it.
Yeah.
I'm everywhere and always have been, but that's not my kind of natural mode. So my mindset block there is, if I put myself out there, everyone will judge me or hate me, that kind of feeling. And I haven't overcome it. However, what happened last year that's helped me understand it and be kinder to myself around it and understand why I feel like this sometimes is I actually got diagnosed as autistic in April, I think, 2023, which was a bit of a surprise when you're in your 40s, but there you go. But what that helped me realize is that, of course, people won't hate me. I have zero evidence of anybody hating me. And if I keep talking about the same thing over and over again in my business, no one's going to get bored of it. They buy or they don't buy or they scroll on, I mean, that's just the way that we behave online. But I understand the biggest thing for me has been understanding why I feel like this. And it's to do with the way that my brain is wired, right? I'm also an introvert, but knowing that I'm neurodivergent too has given me a kind of added level of understanding. So I think as a kind of lesson to other people, and I say this to my clients, try and work out why you feel like you feel, or you feel resistance to something, look kind of deeper inside. And often it is a fear of what might happen. But which is often irrational, right? Logically, we all know that thing's never going to happen. irrational feeling, but understanding the why helps you put steps in place, measures in place to be able to re-rationalize what's kind of going on and the fears that you have.
Yeah. I think I love that is the mindset block, because I think that is one that so many of us have, especially, businesses in the last, you know, 10 years or so, with the emergence of how big social media has become within marketing our businesses. We're told to put our faces out there, get yourself on video, video is everything. You need to be the face of your business. You need to be there. People need to know you. People need to know, like, and trust you. And they can't do that if they don't see you. And it's kind of forced down our throats in that way, that you're not going to be successful if you don't put yourself out there. And I think it really is something that a lot of people struggle with and still struggle with, even though exactly what you said, it's an irrational fear. And who cares what strangers on the internet think about you? It's, you're targeting a specific person, your ideal client, the people that you want to work with, who are going to be attracted to you and like you because they're going to want to work with you. And nobody else matters outside of that. And what if they do not like you? That's on them, not on you.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
it's
who
so
cares? Because
hard.
you don't know who they are anyway. And
Exactly.
it's funny because people are always really surprised when I say that, because I mean, I've been creating videos for years. I love getting up on stage, which for some reason doesn't fall in, and talking to audiences, that doesn't fall into that category for me for some reason. I love doing stuff like this, the podcast interviews and my own podcast. And so externally, there is zero evidence of how I feel internally, but that's
Yeah.
what mindset blocks are about, really. It's the way you feel about stuff yourself, and you can put measures in place to kind of make it easier for yourself, or not do the stuff that you hate. If you
Yeah.
really hate something and it makes you want to just curl up and die, then don't do it. There's
Yeah.
plenty of other alternatives out there of ways of putting yourself out there.
Yeah. And I think that's something that a lot of people will enjoy hearing, because it's tough out there, and it is a constant battle. And like you said, it's not something you're necessarily over, and maybe it's something that you never really get over. It's just something that you push through. And I'm an introvert too, and not a lot of people believe that. Like, I think we're very similar in that way. We're quite bubbly personalities, ready to talk to anybody, talk the hind legs off a donkey. But gosh, it takes a lot of energy out of me, and I just need that downtime. So being on social media is, even though it's not conversing with people, the energy that takes for an introvert is a lot of energy, and to do it all the time is maybe a little bit too much. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, it is. And there's, you can do text based, you don't have to do video, you can do photos that somebody else has taken of you, you don't have to do video, you don't have to do live stuff. Yeah, I do find it really interesting, and it's about the pressure that is put on by society and by social media, really, is that you need to do all this in order to be successful. You need to do a reel a day. It's like, no, you don't. No, you don't. There's people who've built really successful businesses not doing any of that. But the mindset thing is recognizing it and then starting to understand it. That's what's important. And if your decision then is a conscious decision to never do those things again, fine. But you could also make rather than just avoiding it, I mean, but you could also make the conscious decision that Mondays is the only day you have to do that. And then you don't have to do it the rest of the week. Well, Mondays is not that you have to do it, that you do it. You don't have to do it the rest of the week. And if you put those boundaries in place, actually, things become a lot easier.
Yeah. Yeah. Taking back that control. Love that. Love that. Well, thank you for sharing that with us, Libby. I think it is one that definitely a lot of listeners will completely empathize with you on. And we've given them some takeaways there to maybe move past that. And love that idea of, do it on one day. I tend to do that. If I've got calls, I book them on one day so that I can just do all the energy and then recuperate the next day. So that's a fantastic one. Thank you so much for that. And we will be back on Thursday with our full episode. So make sure you come back for that. Libby, where can people find you?
They can find me on LinkedIn if you search for Libby Langley. On Instagram, I'm at Libby Langley. My website is libbylangley.com. My book, Life in Business, is available on Amazon, on Kindle and in paperback. And my podcast is Life in Business, which is available on any podcast app. So not Life in Business 2, just
Not
Life in Business.
Brilliant. Okay, guys, we will speak to you on Thursday. Come and join us then. Bye for now.